This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 28th day of May in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. The Guyana Police Force has reported that retired Canadian homicide investigation expert Leonard McCoshen has found no evidence of foul play in the death of 11-year-old Adriana Younge. McCoshen was brought into Guyana by the government to assist local investigators probing the child's death. In a statement last night, the Guyana Police Force, while offering a few details on the investigation done by Mr. McCoshen, said its findings were consistent with the final post-mortem report conducted in Guyana, which concluded that the child died by drowning. The Guyana Police Force has stated that the death of the 11-year-old Adriana Younge has been officially ruled a drowning, with no signs of foul play, according to the final post-mortem report, which the force said was submitted on Tuesday by the 3 foreign pathologists who conducted the autopsy 3 weeks ago. The police report on the final findings of the autopsy came ahead of the second autopsy, which is being done in the U.S. The child's remains were flown out of Guyana on Monday for that second autopsy. But even with that taking place, the Guyana Police Force in its statement last night said the certified findings from the autopsy confirmed that Adriana Younge's death was consistent with drowning, and there was no evidence of trauma, assault, or any other criminal activity found. The police said all concerns about the child's death were taken seriously and fully investigated in collaboration with forensic experts. According to the police, a comprehensive post-mortem examination, including toxicology and DNA testing, was carried out, with the key findings being no signs of acute injury or trauma. Additionally, the toxicology results showed ethanol levels consistent with post-mortem decomposition, according to the police. The police said there was also no evidence of any type of sexual assault. The police said the probe also found that the child's skin and airway changes were in line with prolonged submersion and drowning, and there was no evidence of restraint, struggle, removal, and return of the body. The pathologist, the police said, concluded that Adriana Younge drowned, likely sank to the bottom of the pool, and later surfaced due to natural decomposition processes common in tropical climates. Police detectives are to submit their file on the investigation to the Director of Public Prosecutions for advice. Adriana Younge was found dead in the pool of the Doubleday Hotel at Tushin 1 day after she was reported missing at the same location back in April. Initially, the police had claimed that it was in receipt of video evidence that showed the young girl leaving the hotel in a car. However, the police later admitted that the information was false. The discovery of the child's body led to widespread protests for several days. The girl's family had rejected the preliminary findings of the first post-mortem and opted to get a second opinion. When a Trinidadian pathologist couldn't get a clearance from the medical board to conduct the second autopsy in Guyana, the family made the decision to fly the remains to the U.S. and have the second autopsy done there. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. I can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Did you know that local businesses are now providing 100% of several key services to the oil and gas sector? This highlights the significant achievements in local content development. In 2020, only 5% of selected services were provided by Guyanese companies. Presently, that number has reached 100%. Some of the fully Guyanese provided services include scaffolding, transportation and immigration support, with the inclusion of visa applications. The expansion of local capacity has led to increased investments and job creation. Hundreds of companies are benefiting from the oil and gas industry, and so can you. To access opportunities like these in the oil and gas sector, visit the local content secretariat's supplier portal.
The Ministry of Education wishes to announce that the Because We Care Cash Grant and the Uniform and School Supplies Grant will begin distribution from May 12, 2025. Please note, however, that distribution will begin later in May and in some cases June for certain regions. Therefore, we encourage all parents and guardians to consult the published distribution schedule to confirm when their grant will be available.
So, what's been given this year?
The grant has been increased to $55,000 per child. This includes $50,000 for the Because We Care Cash Grant and $5,000 for the Uniform and School Supplies Grant.
Who qualifies for this grant?
All public and private school learners from nursery year 1 to grade 10 who are registered and attending school are eligible. In grade 11, only students who will register for CAPE grade 12 in September qualify, along with current grade 12 students who will be continuing to grade 13. For children entering nursery this year, they must have been registered by March 28, 2025.
How do I collect the grant?
The parent or assigned guardian of the child can uplift the grant at the child's school. Just make sure to bring a valid form of ID, your national ID card, passport, or driver's license.
What if I don't have any of those IDs?
No worries, your identity can be verified by a senior official in your community, such as the school's principal or village tusho.
Suppose I can't go myself to collect it. What then?
You can authorize someone else to collect the grant on your behalf.
What happens if I miss the date?
If you miss the scheduled date at your school, a later collection date will be announced, but this will only happen after the national distribution is completed, so it's best to collect it as scheduled if possible. Got more questions? Check the Ministry of Education's social media pages or contact your child's school for more information. In service to you, because we care.
Well, the chairperson of the Guyana Elections Commission, retired Justice Claudette Singh, has stated that she did consult with the chief election officer on a timeline for elections, and she did not act unilaterally with her advice to the president on GECOM's readiness for the elections this year. In a statement this afternoon, the Elections Commission explained that the chairperson received a call from President Irfan Ali last Friday, inquiring whether GECOM would be in a position to hold the elections within 3 months. The commission said the chairman asked the president to allow her to consult with the chief election officer before she could provide an answer, and she did just that. According to the statement from GECOM, the chief election officer informed the chairman that in anticipation of a possible need to conduct the elections, he had prepared a draft work plan to be in a state of readiness to hit the ground running. GECOM said the chief election officer advised the chairman that based on the work plan, the commission would be ready to host elections by the 25th of August. It was based on that timeline that the president announced a September 1 date for the elections. Opposition-nominated members of the Guyana Elections Commission have said that they were blindsided by the president's announcement. They said the initial work plan provided to the commissioners placed a date for the election in late September. But today, GECOM said the work plan that was mentioned by those commissioners could not be seen as the work plan to be used for the conduct of the upcoming elections. The commission said it was a schedule of activities with relevant timelines for completion that was previously presented. It was further explained that the schedule of activities was prepared based on a request for the GECOM Secretariat to prepare a schedule indicating what would be the earliest date on which elections could be held after they become constitutionally due. The commission said, armed with the information provided by the chief election officer and in consideration of Article 61 of the Constitution, that elections shall be held on such a day within 3 months after every dissolution of Parliament, as the President shall appoint by proclamation. The chairman advised the President that GECOM would be able to hold the elections within 3 months. The opposition-nominated commissioners have questioned the readiness of the Elections Commission for that 1st of September date. The Guyana Elections Commission is expected to meet again tomorrow to discuss a work plan for the 1st of September elections, after the 3 opposition-aligned commissioners walked out of yesterday's meeting. Election Commissioner Vincent Alexander told news source that the opposition-aligned commissioners, himself included, are expected to attend tomorrow's meeting. However, he said they intend to make a case as to why the president should have been better advised by the Elections Commission on its readiness. Mr. Alexander is adamant that GECOM would not be in a position to meet a number of statutory deadlines, a position he made clear at a press conference on Tuesday.
All we can do is to continue to insist that the statutory deadlines are adhered to, that we are involved in the decision-making process, and that recommendations which are essential to a proper voters list are adhered to. For example, there is the issue of biometrics. We have gone beyond that issue to suggest that on the voters list, the names of persons overseas which can be provided and should be provided statutorily by the Chief Immigration Officer are underlined in the voters list.
He said the statutory deadlines traditionally used for claims and objections, submission of lists of candidates, among others, must not be compromised. He said, added to that, GECOM was in the process of discussing a number of critical issues. Those issues include the right of the incarcerated to vote, in particular those on remand. He said the issue is a human rights one, and while the president is constitutionally required to name a date for elections, the Elections Commission is also obliged to produce a free and fair election in which no one is disenfranchised. Further, Alexander explained that the opposition-nominated commissioners walked out of yesterday's meeting after the chairman of GECOM, retired Justice Claudette Singh, introduced the revised work plan without offering the commission an explanation for advising the president that GECOM would be in a position to hold elections on the 1st of September. He said it was not until after the opposition-nominated commissioners demanded an answer that the chairman explained that she consulted the chief election officer before she advised the president. The chief election officer, Vishnu Prasad, in a statement today, explained that the commission was not provided with a work plan in the past, but rather a schedule of activities, and that the work plan submitted following the president's announcement must be considered. But Alexander has accused the chairman of GECOM and the CEO of being deceptive.
This deceptive, corrupt, and ostentatious manner of the administration of GECOM's affairs has been pervasive for the entire period since the 2020 elections. In the first instance, there was a refusal to evaluate the conduct of the 2020 elections, a standard and precedented activity based on the erroneous contention that such a review would have collided with the jurisdiction of the court. Another instance of hindrance was the orchestrated delay in discussing the issue of digital fingerprinting at registration and the use of fingerprints for voter identification at the place of poll. Though proposed as early as 2023, this matter only made the agenda in late 2024 into 2025 to be confronted with spurious arguments about legality, the need for legislative intervention, and ultimately the inadequacy of time for meaningful attention to be paid to the issue in time for the impending 2025 elections.
He said the recommendations of regional and international observers have been largely ignored by GECOM in its efforts to retain its dysfunctional system. He said as it is right now, the ingredients for free, fair and transparent elections are missing. Chairman of the Region Democratic Council for Region 4, Daniel Seram, has decided to ditch his party, the People's National Congress Reform, and embrace the People's Progressive Party Civic for the upcoming elections. Seram made the announcement of his endorsement of the PPP on his social media pages on Tuesday evening, following a meeting with President Irfan Ali and Vice President Bharat Jagdeo. In a statement, Mr. Seram said after fruitful discussions and careful considerations on matters of national and regional development, he is pleased to endorse the President and the Vice President for a second term to lead the country. The retired Guyana Defense Force captain shocked many of his close friends in the PNC reform over his decision. However, some of them indicated that he had been drifting away from the party, but they did not expect him to throw his support behind the rival PPP. Seram joined the People's National Congress Reform in 2019 and was quickly shuttled into the position of regional chairman of Region 4 after the 2020 elections. Region 4 is the most populated and economically strong region in the country, as it is home of the capital city and the seat of the national government. In 2022, Seram was co-opted onto the central executive of the PNC Reform by the party leader Aubrey Norton, following the party's internal elections. However, months later, he drew the ire of Mr. Norton when he was charged for threatening behavior over an incident outside a nightclub involving his father-in-law. Just over a year later, in 2023, he found himself facing allegations of domestic violence. Those reports were made by his wife. At that stage, Mr. Norton called on him to step down as regional chairman, but he never did. As regional chairman, he often complained about his office being bypassed by the central government on major development works in the region. He, however, repeatedly stated that he was there in the office to serve the people of Guyana.
GECOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. How to apply for registration? You must visit the GECOM registration office that is responsible for your area of residence to apply for registration or name change or correction. You must be in possession of the following source documents as might be relevant: original birth certificate or valid Guyana passport for new registration, original marriage certificate and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by marriage, original deed poll and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by deed poll, original naturalization certificate and original birth certificate or valid passport in the case of naturalization. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at another address since you were registered. For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
New York City, summer is about to get hot. Saturday, August 2nd, SR Hamilton LLC presents Gospel Infusion. Featuring Samuel Medas, Psycho, Eddie Neblett, Sean Daniels out of Trinidad, Carlvin Burnett, Christelle Brandt, Sherilyn Maloney, DJ Kesta D, and many more at the South Jamaica Multi-Service Center, 11402 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, Queens, New York. Gates open at 4 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Get your super early bird tickets for only $50. General admission $70. Pay more at the gate, and limited VIP $100 all inclusive. Come and experience the outpouring of God's grace Saturday, August 2nd. For more information, visit Gospel Infusion on Facebook and Instagram.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Need small appliance for your kitchen? Giftland have it. Need fridge or stove? Giftland have it. Speakers or laptop? Giftland have it. I'm telling you, Giftland have everything. And don't get me started on TVs. 58-inch, 65-inch, 70-inch, 75-inch. All sizes in leading brands. Best thing about it, they give a warranty. Man, Giftland is the place for all your electronics purchases.
Washi. Hi people, washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have me clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Starbrook Market.
Now let's turn our attention to that election fraud case trial. During more than 2 hours of intense cross-examination yesterday, former police commander Edgar Thomas admitted on the oath that he had no hard evidence to substantiate portions of his testimony in court. Back in 2020, during the elections, Thomas was the commander of the Police Division 4A, which covers Georgetown. He told the court that prior to the March 2nd, 2020 elections, he was part of a meeting with the then Deputy Commissioner of Police, Maxine Graham, and the then Chief Election Officer, Keith Lowenfield, and his deputy, Roxanne Myers, in which security took center stage. While being cross-examined by defense attorney Ronald Daniels, Thomas said that he was responsible for the external security of the Region 4 Command Center, which was located at the Ashman's building. He said internal security was the responsibility of the security for the Elections Commission. However, notwithstanding that arrangement, Thomas told the court that he received verbal instructions from the then Commissioner of Police, Leslie James, to protect the Ashman's building and all electoral material. When asked if the instruction was documented, the former police commander responded in the affirmative. However, he said it was recorded in a police diary that he had earlier admitted to destroying. It was while being cross-examined by defense attorney Nigel Hughes that Mr. Thomas disclosed that his police diary, which contained critical information on the events that unfolded during the course of the 2020 elections, that was deliberately destroyed by him. He said because of the classified information the diary had in it, he destroyed it. But his admission came after almost 30 minutes of being grilled by the attorney Nigel Hughes on the matter. Initially, the former police commander told the court that written record of the events that unfolded during the course of the elections and his communication with the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Maxine Graham, were kept in a diary given to him by the police force. He said roughly 4 years ago, the diary disappeared. Asked by the attorney whether he had reported the diary being missing to anyone, he responded in the negative. Maintaining that the diary was missing, Thomas attempted to dodge a series of questions posed to him by Hughes in relation to the missing diary. But his story quickly changed from a missing diary to one that was destroyed. It was then that he told the court that the diary was not missing and that it had been destroyed by him. Unable to justify his actions under the laws of Guyana, Thomas suggested to the court that while the diary was given to him by the police force, it was his personal diary. He said it is his practice to destroy his personal diary. The diary, according to Thomas, was the only document that could substantiate much of what he was telling the court. He recalled that during the course of the elections, the operations room for Police Division 4A had received a call from someone in the command center who reported that another individual had left the tabulation room with a flash drive and was tampering with the data. According to him, he went over to the command center to investigate the report, having informed the Deputy Commissioner of Police. However, Thomas admitted on the cross-examination that the only record of that report and communication was destroyed by him when he destroyed the diary. He earlier testified that he, along with a team from the Criminal Investigations Department, had launched an investigation into the report, and the flash drive was retrieved amid allegations of tampering by the PPP. Thomas returns to the witness box tomorrow for further questioning under cross-examination. 6 members of the Guyana Defense Force who came under attack from armed men on the Venezuelan side of the border in the Cayuny River earlier this year have been honored with the Border Defense Medal Class 1 and elevated in rank for their courageous actions, the Guyana Defense Force has stated. The award, which was conferred by the President, recognizes the exceptional bravery, tactical discipline, and commitment to the defense of Guyana's territorial integrity by the soldiers. The decoration ceremony was held at the Colonel Ulrich Pilgrim Officer Cadet School Drill Square, where the Chief of Defense Staff, Brigadier Omar Khan, presented the medals and new badges of rank in the presence of other officers and ranks. The honored ranks Lieutenant Ansel Murray, Staff Sergeant Andre Fraser and Kevon Davis, Sergeant Kevin Henry, Corporal Troy Yorick, and Lance Corporal Ezra Samuels were part of a 6-man patrol from the 1st Infantry Battalion conducting a resupply mission on the 17th of February when they came under unprovoked fire from armed men positioned on the Venezuelan bank of the Cayuny River. The GDF said despite being wounded, the patrol returned fire. Their actions, the GDF noted, not only saved lives, but demonstrated the highest standards of military professionalism under duress. They were evacuated the following day for medical attention. Brigadier Khan commended the men for their combat instinct, discipline, and steadfast resolve under fire. He emphasized that the honors conferred reflect not only their heroic actions, but also the critical importance of preserving life in the theater of danger. He said the soldiers exemplify what it means to love and serve one's country. Their response, he noted, was not just brave, it was deliberate, trained, and driven by duty. The actions, he said, inspire confidence across the GDF. Brigadier Khan also noted that the engagement is one of several recent incidents along the border, and the men's performance highlights the importance of vigilance, preparedness, and tactical proficiency in protecting Guyana's sovereignty. The Border Defense Medal Class 1 is awarded to members of the disciplined services who have engaged directly in hostilities in defense of the nation. A 70-year-old man from Lusiknan on the east coast of Demerara lost his life tragically early this morning during a robbery, according to the police. The police said the elderly man, whose name was given as just Theo Narain, was at home with his 69-year-old wife when 2 masked men barged into the house early this morning. The wife told investigators that she woke up at around 1:30 this morning and was in the kitchen of the house when she heard a strange sound and decided to investigate that sound. It was coming from another section in the house. The woman said she came face to face with two masked men who tied her up and placed her in the washroom of the house. She said one of the men even choked her before she was placed in the washroom.
Me pull the blind, they come to the man and he hold me here. He came and put me full lie down on the toilet bowl. And he choked me neck and I loose and he said don't holler, don't squeal. And he choked him and me fight back and he tie me two hand, me two knee and me two foot. Push cloth and so in my mouth.
The police report said the woman eventually managed to free herself, but when she made her way to the hallway of the house, she found her husband motionless and lying on his back.
Stop when then me can get up because me can hear this knee all pain me. And when me come me see them tie foot and hand and he lie down straight, so me watch it in a breathe. Then me call my brother.
Police investigators were contacted and the elderly man was pronounced dead. The family also reported that $800,000 that they had in cash in the house was missing. Police investigators reported that no marks of violence were found on the dead man's body, and a post-mortem examination will be done to determine his cause of death.
The moment is coming. He has the ball. Will he make the shot? And he made it! Goal! This is the biggest win we've seen in ages. Feel the rush with every bet and win big. Play online at www.ibetgamesur.com.
With iBet Supreme, every game is your game. iBet to win with iBet Supreme.
Must be 18 years and older to bet.
The Ministry of Education wishes to announce that the Because We Care cash grant and the Uniform and School Supplies grant will begin distribution from May 12, 2025. Please note, however, that distribution will begin later in May and in some cases June for certain regions. Therefore, we encourage all parents and guardians to consult the published distribution schedule to confirm when their grant will be available.
So, what's been given this year?
The grant has been increased to $55,000 per child. This includes $50,000 for the Because We Care cash grant and $5,000 for the Uniform and School Supplies grant.
Who qualifies for this grant?
All public and private school learners from nursery year 1 to grade 10 who are registered and attending school are eligible. In grade 11, only students who will register for CAPE grade 12 in September qualify, along with current grade 12 students who will be continuing to grade 13. For children entering nursery this year, they must have been registered by March 28, 2025.
How do I collect the grant?
The parent or assigned guardian of the child can uplift the grant at the child's school. Just make sure to bring a valid form of ID, your national ID card, passport, or driver's license.
What if I don't have any of those IDs?
No worries, your identity can be verified by a senior official in your community, such as the school's principal or village tusho.
Suppose I can't go myself to collect it. What then?
You can authorize someone else to collect the grant on your behalf.
What happens if I miss the date?
If you miss the scheduled date at your school, a later collection date will be announced, but this will only happen after the national distribution is completed, so it's best to collect it as scheduled if possible. Got more questions? Check the Ministry of Education's social media pages or contact your child's school for more information. In service to you, because we care.
Buster presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Buster flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Buster for drink, Buster move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it. Buster for this, that's cool. Buster 500 milliliter is a brand new choice of my drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Buster 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyana is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guy Oil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. The Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, has issued a new Rapid Risk Assessment, RRA, on yellow fever in the Americas, including the Caribbean, which it said shows that the risk to public health remains high due to continued human cases in endemic countries of the region. PAHO said that so far this year, there has been a more than eightfold increase in cases compared to the same period of 2024. It said that this is due to the periodic reactivation of transmission cycles with spillover cases among people, and that in total, countries have reported 221 confirmed human cases of yellow fever, including 89 deaths. In comparison, in 2024, there were 61 human cases confirmed, including 30 deaths. PAHO said that of concern is the fact that while in 2024, most cases were reported in the Amazon region of Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Guyana, and Peru, this year, cases have also been reported outside of the Amazon region. It said that yellow fever occurrence near densely populated areas increases the risk of an urban outbreak. The United States has warned Americans against traveling to Venezuela, emphasizing a growing risk of wrongful detention in the South American country, where there's no U.S. embassy or consulate. U.S. citizens in Venezuela face a significant and growing risk of wrongful detention, the State Department said in a statement. The department has assigned Venezuela its highest travel alert, level 4, to not travel. It cites risks including torture in detention, terrorism, kidnapping, unfair law enforcement practices, violent crime, civil unrest, and inadequate health care. And finally tonight, international news. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration has ordered U.S. embassies around the world to stop scheduling appointments for student visas as it prepares to expand social media vetting of such applicants. An official memo said social media vetting would be stepped up for student and foreign exchange visas, which would have significant implications for embassies and consulates. It comes during a wide-ranging Trump crackdown on some of America's most elite universities. He sees these institutions as too left-wing, accusing them of failing to combat anti-Semitism when pro-Palestinian protests have unfolded on campuses. Responding to the move, China called on the U.S. to protect international students. And I quote, "We urge the U.S. side to earnestly safeguard And I quote, "We urge the U.S. side to earnestly safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of international students, including those from China. End of quote. An official was quoted as saying, hundreds of thousands of Chinese students attend universities in the US. The universities themselves are likely to be disquieted as well. Many of them rely on foreign students for a significant chunk of their funding, as those scholars often pay higher tuition fees. Foreign students who want to study in the US are usually required to schedule interviews at a US embassy in their home country before approval. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.